Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Investor More, and I have some really exciting news that I've been waiting for a long time. And I know some people have been waiting for it as well. And that is my Cleveland property is finally vacant after having a tenant who hasn't paid rent in like 3 years or something crazy and ridiculous like that. You can see right there's my property right here. Back when it was occupied, I've done a number of videos about this property. I'm going to tell you how we got it vacant. Huge shout out to Homex Property Management and Ariel who helped me do that. So many other people said I couldn't do it and I was just wasting my time. She was able to make it happen. We'll talk about my plans for this property now that it is vacant as well. And we'll of course show you some pictures of what it looks like. I don't have a video of the house. I'm going to see if I can get one. I don't live in Cleveland. I live in Colorado. I've never been to Cleveland. I've never seen this house, which was obviously part of the issues here. But we'll show you some pictures and we'll tell you just, why I couldn't evict and the craziness, as well as some crazy comments I got on one of my previous YouTube channels from someone in the housing court, apparently, which might shed some light on this situation as well. So love the comments, love the likes. I'll have a number of other videos showing this property here that I'll try and link to below. If I forget, remind me, and I'll maybe forget again, but I'll try to put them down there at some point. And this property is also part of a crazy situation, a shootout in the 60s. And I talked about that in my last video as well. Just shed a little bit of light on that again for those of you who missed that. Okay, so here's a previous video I did. Oh my God, Dave Ramsey shows up. Every single video I have deleted him, unsubscribed. Anyway, okay, so this property I bought in 2000. Here, we can play this.
Never paid.
Oh, there we go. Here you can see the property. But I bought this property in 2015 as a turnkey rental. It was kind of an experiment. I bought it in my IRA, which was a huge problem as well, as it turns out. And I paid $45,000 for it. So it's a small investment. I wanted to kind of do an experiment because I've been referring other people to buy turnkey rentals. They're basically rental properties. They're supposed to be fixed up, rented. You don't have to do anything. It's all done for you. And you make some money off that rental. Now, the downside to turnkey rentals are you're usually paying more than retail because they're rented, rehabbed, and managed already. And you can have issues because you're not close to them. You can't keep an eye out on them. So I'm not saying all turnkey rentals are bad, but they can bring in more issues and have more problems than regular rentals just because of you're not close to it. And a lot of people don't pay attention to things as much as they should, me included. So, this property, when I first bought it, had issues. The turnkey rental had gotten a pool of properties from an investor and was selling those out to other people like me. I thought it was rehabbed and rented. Turned out it was rented, but it wasn't rehabbed, and the tenant had been behind on rent and not paying rent. So we had to go through an eviction process, rehab the property, which was not expected. And actually, the turnkey company helped pay for that rehab, but they did not help pay for the 8 months I had vacant and not collecting any money. So I stopped referring people to that company. They no longer exist anymore. So I'm not going to, mention them, but it was a little disappointing how that all worked out. Now, there are other turnkey companies, and I know some who are decent. I know some who aren't so decent. So just be very careful if you ever use a turnkey company. Honestly, I suggest trying to find your own agent, property manager, contractors if you're going to invest out of state. I know it takes more work, but you'll end up in a much better situation. So on this property, we finally got it rented. It's kind of like a, not really Section 8, but housing authority through Cleveland. So it had to be inspected. And I think it was rented for like $780 a month, something like that. That tenant paid rent for a couple of years. Everything went fine. Then COVID came around, and it's actually right before COVID, the house actually didn't pass inspections for the housing assistance. And my property management company at the time did not tell me this. They were absolutely horrible property management company. Monument Real Estate, would never recommend them to anybody for anything. Horrible communication. I'm pretty sure they're trying to steal money from me, and they didn't actually magically find this money until I was going to report them to the Real Estate Commission, and then that money showed up in my account. They were not proactive at all with the tenants, didn't know how the lead-based paint rules worked, just so many issues and problems with them. I've left reviews on Google if you want to see the full list of everything there about Monument Real Estate. So through this, she stopped paying during COVID or right before COVID, and then got some COVID assistance. So rent was paid to me during COVID for maybe a year, but the tenant didn't pay it, but I was getting some rent, which was nice. Then that stopped coming through. The tenant never paid rent, and basically I couldn't evict. And why couldn't I evict? Well, Monument Real Estate said I had to have a lead paint based inspection for like 6 months. I told them about 20 times I didn't need one because the house was built in 2005, and that was after lead-based paint, but that was part of the issue. The other part of the issue, the real hiccup and huge, massive problem, I bought this property in an IRA, which is a retirement account. You can do that with some self-directed IRAs. I use UDirect IRA to do that. But Cleveland has extremely strict laws and court orders on evictions. Very, very tight. They try to avoid all evictions in any way they can. And so part of their goals, and we'll show you this here in just a second, is to pretty much halt all out-of-state investors from buying in Cleveland. And so I'm an out-of-state investor, plus I have my property in IRA. And the lawyers for Monument, after we got the lead-based paint thing figured out, said you can't evict. It's impossible because you have an IRA and you're out of state. So you have to register your corporation in Cleveland in order to evict. That's one of, or in Ohio. I have to register my corporation in Ohio in order to evict. That's one of the requirements the Cleveland courts will have. Well, I don't have a corporation. I have an IRA. And they said, it doesn't matter, you have to register it in Ohio. I'm like, you can't register an IRA. They're like, I know, that's why you can't evict. And so I talked to multiple lawyers, did videos about this, had people reach out to try and help me. No one pretty much had an answer. They all just said, ooh, that's tricky. I don't know what to do there. Well, someone, I apologize because I don't remember who recommended Homex to me, said, talk to Ariel at Homex. She's dealt with this before. She can help you. She'll figure it out. I'm like, sure, I've done this, So I did reach out, talk to her, super nice. And she's like, yeah, we can help you out with this. I'm like, really? So we actually went through a process to try and get my IRA registered in Ohio. I tried to register it as a corporation. That failed. They said, no, you can't do that. It's not a corporation. I tried to register it as a just an entity, and that was very tricky. It wasn't working out very well. And eventually, I was able to get it just the name of my IRA registered in Cleveland. I got a letter from the Secretary of State from Ohio. And actually, I keep saying Cleveland, I mean Ohio. The Ohio Secretary of State was extremely helpful and nice and worked with me on this to get this done. They were really cool. And they helped me figure this out because they saw the problem too. So we finally got that done. We got some court dates scheduled, went to court. The judge was allowed to see this and different things. And while this was happening, I got a massive letter from the tenant. Here's my congratulations from the Secretary of State of Ohio, but just all this paperwork from the tenant, just saying how bad the property was and how they were mistreated for not paying rent. And basically at the end of it here, we'll see if we can get the, they only wanted, here we go. It's kind of hard to read, but there's no telling how many more people is experiencing this, them, especially the elderly. The founds from Cleveland Housing Network and Stay for World. In case management is a part of involved with this, because I see the word dual agency. I am also requesting 60 days to move, $10,000 for mental and emotional distress, and $25,000 for harassment. Them emailing me, texting me, putting notices on my door. So sorry, it may have sounded way better than that. It's cursive writing that's very difficult to read. So that was just me struggling with part of that. But basically, they wanted $35,000 to move out. And they told Homex, the property management company, they wanted $35,000. They said Monument, they told them they wanted $35,000 because, we're putting eviction notices and asking them to do cash for keys, asking them to contact us, anything we can do to get them to, hopefully move out on mutual terms. We weren't just trying to evict, we were trying to help them move out and actually pay them to do it. And they just wouldn't respond except for this, which asked for $35,000. So we got to court. And of course, the judge said, well, they don't have anywhere to go. Let's delay this. We can't just do an eviction. But I was able to at least be heard, which was a step most people thought I couldn't do because of this situation with my IRA. Now, I want to say this is specific to Cleveland, not Ohio in general. This is specific to the Cleveland courts and what's going on there. Now, Ariel came back to me and said, hey, at least we were in court. The tenant was there. We have contact. We have another court date in like a week or two. Do you want to offer them cash for keys? I'm like, yes, of course. Let's offer them cash for keys. And she said, because it's in court, because it's in front of the judge, it will be binding. They can't get out of it. That's going to be our best option to avoid eviction, because even though we jumped through all these hoops and they haven't paid rent forever, and obviously we distressed them by putting notes on the door, cash for keys is better. So I authorized to pay up to $2,000 in cash for keys, not thinking it would be accepted. And after court came, Ariel texted me and said she accepted the $2,000. I'm like, oh, thank you. And then I'm like, well, what happens if she doesn't move out? I'm sure we'll go through this. And she's like, no, it was in the court. It's all approved. If she doesn't move out by the date, we can do, the police will move her out in like 7 to 10 days or something. She can't get out of it. So I'm like, thank you. And so we went through this whole process, and we, as of 10 days ago, she moved out. And I was kind of waiting for pictures to show what it looks like and see the property. And we will show those very soon here. But this whole process has been crazy. And I think I haven't been paying attention. The Glendale shootout stuff is what we've been watching before, where a number of people were killed and murdered at this property. Now, it was a different property at the time. That property burned down during the riots, and lots of properties burned down during the riots that stemmed from this shootout. But right where my property is where the residence was for the main guy who was arrested and convicted for quite a few murders of police officers and different people. So crazy situation. But on this video, I had someone commenting from the Cleveland Housing Authority, or they said they were from the Cleveland courts. And I've heard from multiple people that says Cleveland doesn't want any outsiders buying Cleveland. They think they caused the housing crash. And so here are some of the comments. Laura Williams, 7818, was who started commenting, and just, here's the first one. Yes. So, okay, I'll read the full comments. I've got a feeling this property management company is taking cash payments from the tenant for under market rent and postponing the eviction. They seem incredibly incompetent. I don't think that's happening, but that's a comment. Some replies, good hypothesis. And then here's this lady's reply. Yes, property management company does take money orders from tenants. They are not to take cash, but the truth is some do. I'm like, okay, that's not so bad, but I don't think she understood what was going on with that comment. And then here we have another comment thread. And this is that same lady saying, out-of-town landlords are the problem. They don't live here. I'm getting tired of lies about Cleveland, Ohio. Another comment, out-of-down landlords don't care about no one but theirself. I live here 50 years. The homes here are old. Home people coming from another city needs to know what they're talking about or keep their mouth shut. So stop the mess and move on. I think these are all directed towards me. So I was asking, how are they the problem when they use a local property management company? She's saying out of town people should invest. And that's the problem. They lied about local. So I don't know if she's accusing me of lying and not being local, but as I said, I believe what you want. I know the facts and you don't. I work with the housing department in Cleveland, Ohio, and I know what's going on. The landlords get property management company because they don't want the problem in dealing with people, and the company lies right now. The 19 News is doing a story on some management company. Here, my dad always told me, never let another person's count your money. We have a housing court here, as I said, tell some bad landlords pay their taxes as tenants pay their bills. I asked, you work in the housing department? Yes. And I asked another question, like, just to make sure, is that yes to both questions? Are you working in the housing department? She's like, in Ohio, there are 55.00 property that was owned by landlords that years back taxes, and landlords was getting rent in Section 8 that refused to do anything in repairs, and you'd be surprised who owned property and did not repair, and still have tenants did. Where I live, the owners are great. They live in Ohio. I sold my house 2005. My landlords fix up with no problems. My rent is great. They owned 11 buildings on this property management company. See the property gets done, and they do come to property owners. again, replied to me, "People tell so many lies. See, I live in a nice place. My landlords are great. They live in Ohio. They fix up their property management company. Great people where I live. There are 11 buildings, and landlords work with the housing department to fix and keep up maintenance property. I live in a suburbs of Cleveland, and out here the city not going along with landlords or tenants, and they will do something about both properties and tenants. My landlords pay attention." So I just want to confirm, do you work at the housing department? Was my next question. Yes. This could be part of the problem. They don't want outsiders in Cleveland for some reason, even though we bought this property, fixed it up, made it a rental property. But this is just, I think, portrays some of the attitude towards landlords in Cleveland. Maybe that's part of the problem, why it's so hard to evict. So anyway, these kept going on, and you're welcome. I'll link to this video here too if you want to keep reading those. And then she commented some other comments down here as well. Don't know if I have all those pulled up, but just very interesting. The thoughts from someone who's working at the courts or housing department, or at least they said they were. Maybe they're not, maybe they're making stuff up, but that was interesting. Okay, so here we go. I know this is taking a while. Here are the pictures of the property and what it looks like. Like I said, hopefully at some point I'll do a video. It won't be me doing it, but I'm hoping to get a video. This is actually the most I've ever seen of the property, because pictures before inspections were not very good. There wasn't very good pictures. No one's ever sent me a video of it. So when I saw these pictures, was the first time of me actually seeing all of the house, really. And I think we saw most of it. So here's the outside. And the outside again. Once again, the outside. And there's the backyard. Right in this area back here is where the liquor store and another building burned down during the riot. So it's a really neat property. It would have been one I would have really been interested in. But here's the inside of the property. So it's a 2-story. I think it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. There's the garage and the backyard, side yard. There's kind of the living room, and it's not horrible. It's not amazing, but it's not horrible. The carpet is not kind of my first choice on what I would use. Here's the kitchen, which is okay. I'm guessing we gave them a fridge, but it's gone. Again, I'm happy to get them out. They can take the fridge as their parting gift if they want that fridge. Here's a hallway leading to the front door. I believe this is an upstairs bedroom. Some of these are out of order. So there's kitchen counters, kitchen again. Some of the windows, a little bit of damage there, nothing too crazy. Window. I think that's the entry area there. Here's the kind of living room, kitchen back here, dining room. Again, lots of different pictures, which is nice. A hallway going back. I'd rather have more pictures than not enough pictures, that's for sure. Our stairs going up where the bedrooms are. And there's a half bath, I believe, just a half bath. And I don't know if that's on the main floor or upstairs. I think it might be on the main floor. Here's the upstairs where there's another bathroom. You can see right here, full bath. And it's really not in bad shape either. It could be way, way worse. Bedroom, another bedroom. I think that's the same bathroom again. Another bedroom, some closets. So really the house is not bad at all, which is nice. And we have some more pictures here, but I think they're mostly, oh, the basement. I didn't even know it had a basement. Now, I don't know in Cleveland how they do basements. Colorado, we have egress windows. You can use them for living space. Here, the windows are so small and tiny, I'm just wondering if they don't even use basements in Cleveland, or maybe it's just this one. But some more of the upstairs pictures, sorry. Here's the basement again. So I'm like, hey, I had no idea my house had a basement. That's kind of cool. So that's the property. And those are the pictures. That's kind of what it looks like. I think we're back to the start again. Yes. So the property is vacant. We've got the tenant out. We'll probably do a little bit of fix up, remodel it a little bit with help from the property management company there. And then I'm going to sell this property. Definitely not renting it again. Want to sell it. Not sure what the price will be yet. I'm relying on the property management company to kind of give me a good idea. And hopefully I will be done with my Cleveland saga and drama here soon. So this property was not a very good experiment for my IRA, that's for sure. Although it's probably worth maybe not quite double, but it's worth a lot more than I bought it for. So that's good. It's been good for appreciation. Would have been nice if the tenant was paying, rent more of the time, or if it's easier to evict them or do cash for keys. Like I said, we tried to contact them over and over and over again. I guess that's why she wanted $25,000 for the emotional distress of trying to contact her to pay rent or give cash for keys. But we got it worked out. Thank you so much to Ariel at Homex Property Management, and highly recommended. If you have any kind of property management, they're a full service real estate agent too. So if you need a real estate agent to buy or sell homes, highly recommended on that regard too. She will be helping me sell this one. And so at least part of the drama is done with on this property. It's still not out of my life yet, but we'll have updates on if it sells, what it sells for. Maybe if we do a remodel on it, I'll try and get some video of it to see what it looks like at that point. Maybe we'll get some video before and after too. So happy to be done with this. We'll have more updates soon. We'll have updates on my other commercial properties, rental properties, businesses, the liquor store, mini mart, all that stuff here coming up as well. Have updates on the laundromats and our flips too. So definitely planning to stay local for at least the foreseeable future, in part thanks to this property in Cleveland. And I would not recommend out-of-state investors invest in Cleveland either. Be very, very, very careful if you do. And I've heard, other parts of Ohio are much better. It's mostly just Cleveland that has caused so many issues. And if you're going to invest anywhere from out of state, it's good to research the laws, figure out what's going on. Back when I invested in 2015, I don't think it was nearly as difficult as it is now. So that's another thing to watch out for and understand is things can always change in your local town, out-of-state towns, wherever you want to invest. All right, thanks for watching. Love to hear what you think, and I'll be back soon.